My name is Benjamin Musuhuke. I'd like to talk a little bit about how the Lord called me to start a ministry called Reach the Children of Rwanda International. Right after my bachelor's degree, I was working as a youth minister here. Sometimes when God puts you on a platform, you quickly realize your potentials or your challenges. I had never had any theological training. And so I wrote to so many schools around the world. I wrote to so many, more than 50 schools. Erskine was among the first schools to respond. At the time, I didn't even understand what full ride meant. But that's how God brought me to Erskine. And I became part of the Erskine community. And the rest really is history. So I was blessed to have quality education. I got 2 master's degrees from there in divinity and in Christian education. Although there were many offers for me to stay and work, it was clear that God had prepared work for me back here home. And so I returned. And when I returned, there were so many young children in the streets of Kigali. Kids who were orphaned, kids who had no place to call home, children of single mothers, and children from extremely vulnerable communities. And this became our mission field. I needed to reach them, minister to them, and that's how RCRI started.
So I met Benjamin in 2011, the place where he was staying with our children, that he was taking care of. And when I went there, I remember was just looking through the back window and I saw these kids running in the backyard. I saw one child that I knew, but I knew him on the street. Sometimes he asked me for money and something to eat. So I asked him, what is that boy doing here? He told me that he stays with him in that home. Then he said, by the way, you should come meet all the other kids as well. They will be here over Christmas. And that was really the start of the journey and me falling in love with what he did.
After Erskine, I had rented a house near the stadium, the current stadium, and I was actually staying with them. I was staying with them. The first missionary teams that came here, they found me staying with those kids. I felt that I needed to be an ambassador of God to those kids. These are kids who never chose to be in that situation. God brought that to my attention. Many of these were the products of the genocide.
It was a tragedy that sparked the Rwandan genocide. On April the 6th, 1994, the plane carrying President Juvenal Habyarimana, a moderate Hutu, is shot down just before it's due to land in Kigali. Within hours, mass ethnic killings erupt across the country. When it's all over, 100 days later, 800,000 people are slaughtered in the last genocide of the 20th century.
The genocide in Rwanda, it rewrote the history of Rwanda.
The genocide did leave Rwanda in a very vulnerable state. The impact is definitely very evident, especially children who are orphaned and also widows, because the genocide initially targeted men. As a result of targeting men, we had so many orphans, we had so many widows.
Even during my school training, it was always clear to my mind. I kept asking, what can I do to rebuild the nation?
One of the focus areas that RCR had was the widow villages. The government has built homes for the widows and their orphans. What RCRI has done is paid the school fees for the orphans. They have been paying health insurance for the orphans and their parents. That is happening in different areas in the country where RCRI has had a hand of really just rebuilding the country. The other part also is that RCRI partnered with pastors.
Rwanda is wonderfully strategic for us, and God's providence, He's placed us in a small country. It's really in the heart of Africa, so it's centrally located, and we've got a local network through our connections with Benjamin and the Ministry of Reach the Children of Rwanda International that has a widespread footprint throughout the country. So Ben has great contacts with many leading pastors in different provinces of the country, and that's the way we've been able to begin to build cohorts of students through these strong pastors in a stable country.
The reason we've been as successful as we are is because of the quality of our local leaders here that we are in partnership with. We currently have 3 sites that we teach at. At each of those sites there is a local leader that we trust, and that local leader is actually in charge of that site, not us. But in the West we have Pastor Caliste, in the East we have Pastor Silas, and in the South we have Pastor Ildefonse.
Icyo gihe rero nibwo nagiye nsangiza Benjamin igitekerezo cy'abapasiteri muri aka gace. Bavuga ko harimo denominations twicaranye, baravuga bati twifuza umuntu wadufasha kugira ngo twige ibijyanye n'ijambo ry'Imana. Cyuko RGB yasabye ko umupasiteri agomba kuba yarize ibijyanye na theology.
So the pastors will go through a 2-year training, and this will give them a diploma. And this diploma in theological training, one is going, before anything else, enhance their capacities. This is also going to help the pastors meet their requirements. This is a requirement at the national level, a requirement from RGB. And so we are grateful for this kind of partnership.
I've seen how God has changed these pastors. Whenever I attend their services, I can see some changes because they now have to prepare deeply. They prepare according to the classes, according to what they've been taught. It's bringing change to them as well as their community or their churches.
We are grateful to Erskine that came on board to partner with SEED and to partner with Rwanda. Well, we say RCRI, but really this partnership is to empower the Rwandan church. We are very grateful for them having come on board and accepting to do this.
Thank you, Erskine. Thank you, Erskine. Thank you, Erskine.
Thank you, Erskine.